Morning, Ms. Coleman. Good morning, Ms. Wiggins, Ms. Austin. Ms. Davis. Ms. Sampson. Ms. Brown, good morning, good morning. Ms. Monet. Yo. We was rolling for a minute. Everybody stop. Where is everybody else? Okay. Well, let's get started. Let's get it started. Okay. We're going to do a little bit from the book this morning, since you all are privileged to be in the private club. And, you know, there's no way I could finish the book just on Saturday. So I want to try to go through some on during the weekday. And one thing about this book I must emphasize is that you're going to have to read the stories. It's not enough time for me to read the stories also and make the points that I'm going to go over. So the points I'm going over, you know, if you get to that part, you make them run through them. But the stories that lead up to these points, the points that I'm about to make, you have to read the stories that come with it. This is an older book, so you're going to hear stories about older people, but it's the same point. It's a simpler, straight to the point read than a lot of the newer books. It seems like some of the newer books want to go in detail a lot more. Just understand that the stories within the book you're going to have to read, not like the other book where I just, you know, you read one paragraph and that was the whole thing of you know, paragraph and a half. So good morning, Dr. Hardy. Came on strong on the train this morning and she elbowed Miss Sampson and said, "Get out of the way, I'm here. Give me my spot back." She said, "Yeah, I was injured for a minute, but you're not about to take my position." I might have left the huddle for a minute, but I'm back. This is my spot. Get out of the way. So I digress for a minute. So hope y'all got the point I made. Because this morning, I want to make it O-N-E. I want to make it obvious and easy for you guys. So let's see if I can do it. Good morning, Mr. Tate. Mr. Tate in the house. Mr. Tate in the house. So, we're going to talk about that proof that a man is more than an animal. Proof that a man is more than an animal. And in my Dr. Umar, I'm going to say it one more time. Proof that a man is more than an animal. All right, so it says here, the fact that the creature man has been able to survive all these centuries in the struggle against all forms of life. The creature man has struggled and survived against all forms of life. In spite the inhumanities of his fellow man is proof that he possesses superior powers within. Man is a variable God in the making, although he reveals that. Who tell y'all that all the time? Who tell you all that all the time? That I'm a God. And y'all think he crazy for saying it. The crazy word will give you the answer right quick. Kanye, instead of him saying I'm an N-I-G-G-A or I'm a bad M-O-F-O, Kanye said, I'm a God. And people hate him for that almost. They say he's crazy for saying he's a God. He's not saying he is God. That's not what he's saying. He's not saying I'm the ultimate, I am God. No, he said he is a God. And it'd probably be better if we all said that instead of I'm a N-I-G-G-A or I'm a da-da-da-da-da-da. But you get criticized for saying that. But the power within has lifted man above all other animals, while there are probably higher intelligence on the planets and in higher realms of being. It is now evident that man has unlimited potentialities for further development within him. He is just in the kindergarten of his opportunities for unfoldment and achievement. Once he learns how to live peacefully and cooperatively with his fellow man, that's quite a challenge. He says once he does that, that's quite a challenge. They out here bombing and killing kids and babies. He's in the midst of learning this painful lesson now, but I have faith he's going to learn it. I have faith in this vast inner power greater than man, of which a man is becoming more and more conscious that something which can and will eventually free man from his fears and hate and prejudice and give him such understanding of his own self that he will in turn be able to understand others. All right, so here's a question that I want to ask you from the book. And it's, you could do both. But here's the thing. Do you lead the pack? Or are you one of the pack? Do you lead the pack or are you one of the pack? If you are a follower of others, you have not yet discovered that something within you. And the chapter is called That Something. Throughout the book, it's talking about that something that's within you. Get it? That's something that's within you. So I'm a God. To be a leader, to be able to step out ahead of the pack. And whatever your line of work is, or human interest of expression, you must know how to draw upon the power within. You must know how to draw from the power within. You must know how to draw from the power within. It's absolutely essential. You cannot be anything without it. You cannot be anything without it. I'm a God. You can say that he might have learned how to pull that God out of him. Some people say, well, he pulled the devil out of him. He's crazy, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm not going to debate on that and keep talking on that, because some of y'all have your opinions on him, and I know how that works. We could go back and forth forever on that. But the law of attraction will only bring to you what you picture. The creative power within must be magnetized by what you visualize for it to do. I mean, we really could shut the book down now, but we're going to keep going because its repetition is key. It's like, you know, every leadership book we read, every mindset book we read, every mental toughness book we read, they are saying similar things, if not the same, with different words. And this is where people miss it, because people say, well, I've already read something like that. You already read something like that. That's like saying, I've already read the Bible. Now, the person that wants to justify them not reading, they will say, well, the Bible's different. That's different. You need to read and reread the Bible all the time. But mindset leadership books and personal development books, I've read that. I've read that. And most of the people who say they read the Bible over and over are not doing it. Because if they were doing it, then they would be reading books over and over, because they understand the power of that repetition of reading Proverbs, 12 months straight, or just reading it over and over, starting over, going back, reading it. You understand the power of it and what you get from it. So there's no way possible that you could read that and understand what repetition does for you, and then go read anything else. And you say, well, I've read that. But the ignorance of us as individuals is off the chart when it comes to reading. Now, I don't know, but I can, my opinion is that for years and years and years and years and more years, we didn't read, or we couldn't read. We didn't read or we couldn't read. I'm talking about a certain culture. So now we are allowed to read. But guess what? To be honest with you, that's probably less than 75 years ago. Maybe 75 years ago that we were allowed to read, or even that we start reading. So through generations, we have been taught not to read, that you should read. Now we've started reading, but I don't know how fast it's going to catch up with us. I mean, I don't know how long people can say, well, that was years ago and you should be reading now. Like, like things that happened that was passed down through generations doesn't stick with you. I mean, that's what they trained on during slavery. They said, don't, you know, I mean, you can do what you want to do, he said, but don't whip them and beat them like that. You know, cause uprising. Just get in their head. Just get in their head and say, hey, that light-skinned dude is better than that dark-skinned guy. Matter of fact, put the light-skinned guy in the house and put the dark-skinned guy in the field. And then have them go against each other psychologically. And they said, well, that will last much longer than the beating and the whip. He said, if you want to beat them and whip them, that's fine if you want to do that. But you also need to add, which is the most important, the psyche. Let's get into that psyche that you are better than him. And he lesser than you. And you don't like him, really. He said that will go down through generations and generations and generations and generations and generations. And you see that now. What we do with each other. It's the same thing with instilling in here not to read. And you better not get caught reading. As a matter of fact, the white man that's teaching you, if we catch him teaching you, we'll get him too. We're going to kill him too. Both of y'all will die. Put it up here. Pass it along. They even did the psyche of go in there and impregnate the lady. Don't worry about taking care of her. No, you gotta take care of the baby. Just go to the next door and impregnate that person. And just go to the next door and impregnate that person. And go to the next door. Don't worry about taking care of the baby. We'll do that. Don't you worry about all that. That has been passed along too. In the psyche. You go back and pull up. Just go back and pull up some of the documentaries on YouTube. Everything I just talked about, from reading, from impregnating, from the psyche of black against white, I mean the dark skin against the light skin, all of that is out there. It's been instilled in us through generations. Now, we're doing our best to snap out of it. But these guys knew what the key was. Get up here. And it'll be passed on. And you'll be wondering where it come from. Why they act like that? Where it come from? Well, it should change. So the law of attraction will only bring to you what you picture. Again, do you have your vision board up? You've heard this before. Do you have the vision of what you want in front of you? Are you thinking about it all the time and talking about it all the time? Are you doing affirmations about it? The creative power within must be magnetized by what you visualize for it to do. In order for it to bring you the picture, you have to keep looking at that picture in your mind, on your wall, and you have to keep visualizing it for it to come to fruition. Yeah, I looked at that one day. I got my affirmations up there. What I decided to do was I'm gonna say mine like once a week, every Saturday morning after the book club. Then I'm gonna do my affirmations. Oh, really? That's when you're gonna do yours? Yeah, that's how I do mine. You don't do them every day? You don't think about your goals and dreams every day? No, I'm too busy worrying about my bills and all other stuff that I got to worry about. Okay. So now remember what it says. What you picture, what you visualize is what you bring about. So if you're pitching your bills and everything else during the week, and then on one day you picture your goals and dreams, which one overrides? Which one is going to win? The bills. How about reversing that? Let's just say every day we doing our goals and dreams. We're going to visualize that when we wake up in the morning, as we drive into work, as we go get it and we travel around, we're going to be visualizing it, thinking about it, listening to it on our headset and all that. And then let's just say Saturday, you worry about your bills. So Saturday, you pull out your bills and you study those, like you say you do. You study those on Saturday. Let's try that. That might be better that we look at the bills once a week, but we look at our future every day. Well, we'll give you one day, you look at your bills. What about that? He said, well, mine doesn't work that way. I do mine the other way. That's how you do yours? See, yeah. Some people put a lot of milk in their cereal. Some people don't. You can't use that for example. I mean, when it comes down to us, the way that we support our goals and dreams, and the way that we support the way that we operate, the support examples are awful. You can't. That example would not. Yeah, man. Some people put more milk in their cereal, and some people don't. So some people read their goals and dreams on Saturday, and some people don't. All right, so picture this. This is the simple command which leads to attainment. Picture. But be sure you are picturing what you really want. It sounds like you really want more bills because that's what you picture every day. You got them stacked on the counter. You got them stacked on your table. You got to look at them every day. That's what you want. You want more bills. Be sure you are picturing what you really, really want, not developing pictures of fear and worry, which will cause that inner power to create for you what you don't want. If Edison, when he was trying to invent the electric light, had pictured failure instead of success, he would have never made the 10,000 experiments before he developed the filament, which would carry the electric current and produce the light. Think of it. Edison failed 999 times before he succeeded once. But if each failure taught him what not work, and through the laborious process of elimination, finally led him to the discovery of something that would work. And if that number, I'm sure they rounded up the number to 1,000, might be closer than that. I mean, might be a lot more than that, could be a lot less. But the point is, he kept trying and kept trying and kept trying and kept trying and kept trying. And they're saying here, he had to believe in what he was doing, because who would keep trying if they didn't believe it was going to happen? Who would keep trying if in their mind the success is not going to happen? You see people quit around you every day. People quit on life. People quit jobs. People quit businesses. People quit marriages. People quit girlfriend and boyfriend. People quit. They quit their Costco membership. He might, I don't know. People love Costco, so I don't know. People quit BYOB. People quit this private club. And that's the dumbest thing you could do. The dumbest thing you could do. That's the dumb of the dumbest. Dumber and dumber. Nobody quits the Falcons, man. What are you talking about? Falcons don't quit. Nobody quits the Falcons. But people do it all the time. And the reason they do it is because they don't believe it's going to happen for them. They don't believe that these situations going to change. They don't believe, and that's a belief. And, you know, could be right. Could be wrong. But my man Edison, he had to believe. You don't do that many times. And like I said, even if it was half of that, that's still 500 times. You're not going to sit there and fool with that 500 times trying to get it right. You're not going to log into the 5:30 training in the morning unless you feel like you're going to eventually win. Because you're going to give up. You're not going to keep going. That's what happens with personal development and training and all that, you know. I remember, I started doing, I guess from 1998, the 1900s, I started doing training calls, but that was Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I did that up to 2005. 2005 or 2006, I started doing trainings every day, Monday through Friday and Saturday, because I had the book club on Saturday. That went on every day to probably COVID. Now, would I do that every day if I didn't know that it helps? If I didn't know that, because I could have been stopped. Now, my goal was to get you to believe that it helps when you do that. If I didn't believe that repetition would not come out, I wouldn't keep doing it. There's no way possible I keep doing it. And that's why people quit and fall off of everything. And that's their decision. I like I said, we quit everything. So and some of it is right for us to quit, some of it's not, but a lot of it, most of the time, is the work wasn't put in and you didn't believe it. I always say in this industry, it's not that it doesn't work. You just quit before it started working for you. You look at somebody else and you see it working for them and you thinking, I'm just as good as that person. I walk like that person. I talk like that person. I dress like that person. My car's like that. Matter of fact, you might figure I dress better than that person. I look better than that person. My car's better than that person. So I should be, no. That's just the surface. What has that person been working on the inside? How long has this person been doing it? What kind of context have they built up? We don't look at that. Because when we don't do something, we just assume and nobody else is doing it. Like you sitting at home watching TV and doing what you're doing, you think that other person that's winning is sitting at home watching TV too, because we all think that people do what we do. That other person probably took the TV out their house and they grinding and they building contacts and they doing all kind of other stuff that you don't see. And now you're assuming that you all have operated the same way, and you wind up stopping because you like, how they winning? I'm not. I guess it ain't meant for me. No. Most of the time, not all the time, there's always some gray areas and maybe a little luck. Most of the time is that person is doing something different than you. They've been going and going and going and maybe failed, and like Edison, like somebody probably said, who helped him? How did he get? Because I've been trying to create the light bulb for I don't know how long, and I stopped. So for how long? For this guy said, I've been trying to do it. He might have been trying to do it, and after 100 times, like, man, he has no idea that Edison is going all the way to 1,000. He's comparing what he did. Because what I'm saying, people think that you do like them, and that's why they want to put their fears and doubts and everything else on you. When you say you about to do something, you can't do that. Because they figure you about to operate like them. And they figure you got the same doubts and fears like them. So, but obviously, I mean, if we think about it, it can't be that everybody operated the same. It can't be it, And that still doesn't guarantee you success. It has a lot of things has to line up. But repetition is one of them. You have to keep repeating things over and over and over. Like it says here, how long could you persist in the face of such colossal failures? How long could you keep going after 999 times? Some of y'all saying, I ain't going 999 times. After 99 times, I'm gone. Like, if I can't win after 99 times, I need to be doing something else. Maybe you should. And maybe not. But whatever you do, you have to do repetition. You have to take something and, you have to learn it. And the best way to learn it is through repetition. Success is 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. Your 1% inspiration could be reading 5 pages from a book every day, getting on the private club every day. He's like, that's more than 1%. No, it's not. No, it's not. If it's 24 hours in a day, what would be 1% of 24? Come on, mathematicians. 10% is, let's just say $24. 10% is $2.40, right? So 1% would be what? What's 1% of? I thought some of y'all were like brilliant when it comes to numbers. 0.2, 24 cents. Put that in minutes. Put that in minutes, Mr. Rogers. What is 1% of the day if we got 24 hours? 14.4 minutes. So that means you do this call, which is, they'll take you to about 3%, maybe 4%, and you got to get at it. Like, hold on. You got to go. I was talking to actually I interviewed this guy. I made a reel out of it. I just put it on YouTube last night. He's a sales trainer. And he says, he said, you know, every time you talk to me, I'm kind of happy and outgoing, right? You don't hear me, you know, he said, I have to be that way if I'm going to be out here, you know, selling and doing the things I do. And I said, yeah, because every time I talk to him, he's bouncing off the wall. Tony Fleming. I'm like, man, you snorting some of that white powder or something? Because he always bouncing off the wall. He says, no. He says, I am doing a minimum of 2 hours a day personal development. He said, well, people say, well, how you do that? Well, and it's the same process that I use and anybody else. I told him, I said, man, you must be running around here looking. He said, no. He said, every chance I get, I'm listening to some kind of audio. I said, I am too. He says, well, I'm in my backyard chopping wood. I said, well, I'm not bad at chopping wood. He said he got a huge backyard. He's chopping wood for the fire that he had to burn because he's in an area that's real cold. He's like, I'm back. Well, he said, I got an audio playing in my ear when I'm chopping wood. He said, when I go to the gym, I got audio playing. I said, I do too. He said, when I take a run, I got audio playing. I said, well, when I take a walk, I'm running days over. I said, when I take a walk, when I walk the Chattahoochee Trail, I got an audio in. He said, when I'm making a sandwich, I got audio in. I said, when I'm making a sandwich, I got audio in. Repetition. Over and over and over. Hearing it more than you hear the news. Hearing it more than you hear negativity from your family members. Hearing it more than you hear gossip. Hearing it more than you hear all kind of other stuff that you saturate your mind with. You have to make sure that and that could be a part of the Bible also. All that combination of things that are more positive, things that feed your mind more and starve your doubt. I don't know how the news could feed your mind and starve your doubt. It'll feed your mind and starve your doubt. Don't feed your mind some other stuff. But I'm saying the things that can feed your mind and starve your doubt, that needs to be higher on your chart. That needs to be heard more and more and more. And see, here's the challenge is we're dealing with brilliant people who have gotten educated in the school system who doesn't even teach that. It's crazy. It's crazy. It should be a part of the system should say, if they want you to really learn, when you walk in the classroom, bring your recorder. When the instructor is teaching, you record everything. And then you go back and listen to it over and over. So when you can really, you'll know it more than just passing the test, you'll know it. You say, well, Tony, you can do that. Well, why wasn't it instilled in us at an early age? Why do we have to come up with that? And I don't know if everybody allow you to do that anyway. I don't think some teachers, you can't bring it in there because they don't want you recording, and they get upset when you record them because sometimes they say stuff they don't need to say, so they don't want to do that. But that should be, if you really want to learn what they're teaching, that's what you do. But see, it ain't about that. It's about teaching you a discipline so you can come out and work for them. It's like when the bell ring, you hop up. That's what it's about. It's about those things that you ain't thinking about. That's what you're learning while you're in school, so you can go work and be efficient on that job, because now you don't have to argue with the system they put in place because you've been taught that. But learning is hearing something over and over and over, repetition over and over and over and over. That's how you learn, to a point where you can get up there and speak for the teacher. If the teacher missed the class, you can get up there and talk because you've heard this over and over and over and over. That's how you learn. You learn, you repeat. No, you hear, you repeat, you teach. You hear, you repeat, you teach. You hear, you repeat, you teach. That's learning. That's learning. So, when you know that you are working with the power within, remember now, I'm a God. Y'all laughed at Kanye when he said it. I'm a God. I ain't no N-I-G-G-A. I'm a God. It's almost like people prefer him to say he's N-I-G-G-A than a God. When you know that you are working with the power within, as Edison did, your faith will never falter. You will continue the struggle against all obstacles and seeming setbacks in the unshakable conviction that you will eventually succeed. That you will eventually succeed. Sometimes failure to attain a certain goal has led to unexpectedly and even more rewardingly to another. Consider the famous case of, I will skip that case. I'll let y'all read that case. But here's the thing, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. What you picture must come to pass if you picture it long enough. Because you're creating it in your mind. You're picturing it to a point where it exists. It exists. Just hadn't come to fruition. You just hadn't pulled up in it. You just hadn't moved in it. You just hadn't, put it in a bank account. It exists. He says, I'm going to repeat many of these statements again and again and again in different ways, because I want them to be indelibly impressed upon your consciousness. The successful man and woman of the world never lose sight of their pictures, never lose sight of their visions, never lose sight of their goals. They keep on reminding their power within. They keep on reminding their power within. They keep on reminding their power within. That what they desire in life, so that it will keep on attracting everything they need to materialize what they have pictured. They keep on reminding, you know how people, You have to keep reminding them on stuff like, like when I'm gonna get my hat. You have to keep reminding them on that. A hat coming in the mail. Now I keep reminding y'all, and I feel bad on the t-shirt winners. The t-shirt you made, I didn't like. So we redoing that. But Miss Austin, your stuff is in the mail. Because see, I got her something special besides the t-shirt because she was the winner. She won. She win like the Falcons, leading the division. Miss Austin is leading the division. The Aints are not leading the division. The Patriots are not leading the division. Miss Austin is a division leader, along with my Falcons. I know you didn't say that. The Commanders. Y'all might need to go back to the Redskins. I digress. I'm over. All right. Keep picturing this. All right. Okay. The pen, well, it's all she wrote. The pen and the pencil broke. Y'all have a fantabulous day. Keep reminding yourself the things that you're going to acquire in life. The things that you already have. You got to keep reminding yourself over and over and over, visualizing and talking about it, saying that you got it. And eventually it has to come into fruition. It has to, because the God within, which is you're God, you will create it. All right.